Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Line's Favorite. Today, I have a 4v4 custom match here on the map SELKIE Isle. Finally, I have a game that is not map generator map, so hopefully everybody enjoys this man-made-ish map. And let's go ahead and get started with introducing Team 1 and Team 2, which Team 1 is on the northern side and Team 2 is on the southern side. And I am still a little sick. I'm getting better, so that's good, but again, apologies for the voice and whatnot ahead of time. Starting off with Team 1's Western player, we have Hybrid. He is in Tropical Ocean Blue as a UEF. He is a 2000 rated. To his east, we have an orange, the color orange Orb. He is an Aeon as a 2200, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game. Overall, to his east, we have in Imperial Gray Strider. He is a UEF. He is a 1600. And on the eastern side here for Team 1, we have in Batman Gray. So the Grays are on the eastern side here. It is War Daddy. He is an Aeon as a 1900. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have only Aeon and UEF, 2 of each. So no Seraphim and no Cybern for Team 1. Starting off with Team 2's Western player in not orange, but Emerald Green. It is Kavat. He is a UEF. He is a UEF as an 1800. To his southeast in Chevy Crimson is Lucius. He is an Aeon. He is an 1800 as well. To his east in Lightish Red Pink, it is Seraphim Noob. He is a Seraphim, definitely aptly named there. He is a 2100, the highest rated player on Team 2. And rounding out Team 2's lineup here in the southeast is Azuros. He is in Glow in the Dark Green as a Cybern, and he is a 2000 rated player. So for Team 2 side of the map, they have one of each of the factions, the bare minimum, because 4 players, 4 factions, one of each, bare minimum. And in terms of the mexes and the reclaim, we'll start with the mexes. Currently, mass in reclaim, currently sitting at 36,000 mass on the field. That is a lot of mass, especially when you take it with 8 players. That is, what, 4.5K? Because if it was 4 players, it'd be 9K. So, yeah, 4.5 thousand mass per player. Obviously, a lot of it is in the middle of the map on the central isle. And of course, there are these T1 PD emplacements, the innocents, civilians, whatever random AI nonsense built those. No units, which is nice, but the structures are annoying nonetheless. And of course, with the map being, again, more of an island map, we do see there is a decent amount of the water. There also are, of course, mexes dotted around the outside and the middle. There's an island in the east and in the west. But, of course, this being a made map, there's no randomization of the mexes. And so there's, it's really easy to just memorize where they all are. We do see Team 2 and Team 1 have landed forces. One has walked. One has transported forces over, trying to grab the middle of the map, at least starting to, and, of course, grab that reclaim. We do see Team 1's player of Hybrid moving in on Team 2's territory here on the beachhead, trying to establish, well, a beachhead, and keep Team 2 at bay. We do see Team 2 on the eastern side for Azuros doing the exact same thing, going for a little bit of the, I think those are frigates. Those look like frigates. I mean, they kind of look like cruisers, but I think those are frigates. Actually, that might be a cruiser. Those might be, those could be destroyers, but I think those are frigates and a cruiser. I could be wrong. We do see War Daddy, of course, moving in on that southern eastern edge as well. It's 2 players in the middle here for Team 2 and 1 player for Team 1, so the advantage will go to Team 2 eventually when these players do engage. There's already some T1 forces engaging the PD emplacements, trying to wipe them out sooner rather than later. And again, going after that reclaim is very, very vital. Again, that's a lot to grab there. Essentially 1 player's portion in the middle of the map, if not then some. We do see combat has occurred between comms, Kavat versus Hybrid. Both of them have taken some damage. Both are UEF, so no advantage one way or the other. And it does look like Hybrid will be forced off the beach and back to his mainland. T1 frigate in the main facilities here for Hybrid. But again, 1 frigate is not going to do a terrible amount of damage. So nothing too crazy there. And then War Daddy says back to water. Says to Azuros, saying, hey, you can't establish a beachhead. I'm already here. We do see some forces stacking here for both players on the eastern side. And in the middle, come action has occurred as well between Seraphim and Orb. Orb heavily focused on the reclaim, not on the units or the comm next door. Advantage in hit points is 500, so definitely not really worth mentioning. But, 500 could make it or break it. Likelihood is very low, but, you never know. We do see Team 2's Lucius over here on the western side. Looks like he's going to assist with the kicking out of Orb here shortly. Lots of spam facilities online for both these players in the middle of the map. And again, that's the goal is just to keep Team 1 or Team 2, depending on who you're rooting for, what team you're on, away from their side of the map. We do see Team 1 spam facilities as well going on for Strider, trying to assist with the middle attack. T2 air is online here for him. He should be going for T3 here shortly. No air facility or anything online for Orb as of yet, not even a naval facility. He's mainly focused on land. He has T2 land online, so we'll see some of those those Obsidian T2 heavy tanks. We do see on the eastern side T2 Navy is online for Azuros. And he's the only one that has T2 on Team 2. Team 1, possible T2, maybe, possibly, maybe. No, not as of yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's online here shortly. Gun range has been started on War Daddy's comm. Gun speed has been started on Orb's comm. He already has range on board. Gun speed and range coming online for Seraphim, so everybody getting gun upgrades here, or at least almost half the somebodies. We do see Hybrid back in the water. Cavat was in the water for a little bit. Looks like maybe he tried to build a facility. Maybe Team 1 tried to build a facility. At the end of the day, the facility is dead, and it looks like the reclaim is going to Cavat, regardless of who actually built it. We do see in the middle here, Orb still trying to retain some control of the middle, but again, I don't think that's really going to happen. Starting my second amendment. That is definitely a way to put that. Where is his comm? Oh, his comm's over here. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put that. Gotta strut that Second Amendment right, essentially. And Lim commits go canceled. Nano, I'm assuming is what he named that to, or it was. Eastern side here, nothing really happening between the comms. There are a little bit more pushing in here from the Zeros, but again, nothing too crazy. T2 Navy online for everybody else on Team 1, and T2 Navy also online in the west for Cavat. So no advantages there. We do see it's Strider versus Seraphim. Nuke. Seraphim has a lot of fortunes here. Strider does not. And Seraphim Nuke has a little bit of the height advantage, but that doesn't really exist in Subcom. We do see that Team 1's Orb is pushing in on this position here for Seraphim Nuke, so we kind of have almost a yin-yang going on, where the northern side is being attacked by a comm, and then the southern side is being attacked by a comm on opposite teams. We do see more destroyers online for Team 2's Azuros, and this might be enough to crush the Aeon positions over here for War Daddy. Looks like maybe Team 1 torpedo spam is online to try to protect the destroyer producing facilities. That might be enough. It's going to be not super great for either team. Almost kind of a null and void, and the mass will go to Team 1 because it is on their side of the map. We're seeing some cruiser spam online here for Team 2's Cavat. We should see that coming online for Team 1 here shortly in the west as well, because they're both UEF. Transports dropping off engineers for the reclaim. Excellent move, and they're grabbing some naval facilities for said reclaim to produce them even faster. A couple of... I also have some torp bombers outbound from Team 1's War Daddy, which looks like he is producing more bombers to deal with those destroyers. We do see still Team 2 Seraphim Noob is hanging on to that eastern side. And in the south here, we do see Orb is really just eating away at Seraphim Noob's position. He's going to lose the headquarters. That's really going to hurt. I don't think he has a backup in land. He does have an air facility, so he still has access to T2 tech for engineers, but not necessarily for the land facilities. But Team 2's Azuros has broken the production facilities of Team 1's War Daddy. He cannot get any more destroyers online, and that might cost Team 1 Navy here shortly, at least on that eastern side. T3 gunship online for Lucius, so he has T3 air online. So does Team 1's Strider. Nope, sorry there, I clicked my mouse and didn't mean to do that. A couple of gunships going after the Mexes. AA being spammed up. A couple of interceptors running around as well. There's also an ASF or 2 in there. A couple of ASFs also online for Team 2's Lucius. A little bit of an air advantage there, but again, nothing too crazy. 15 minutes on the clock sort of thing. So Team 2 is winning Navy in the east. Team 1 is winning Navy, or at least it looks like they're winning Navy on the western side. Team 1 spam facilities trying to block a little bit of shots, as well as some Team 1 subs to help assist with the damage situation. We'll see if that ends up working out for him or not. And it looks like the naval headquarters has been wiped out. Nice grab there. And now they are coming on to land. Those nasty little D2 Seraphim Salem destroyers converting themselves from naval to land units. Very, very annoying unit to deal with. Obviously very slow on land. And because they're on land, torpedo bombers don't work. So great advantage there. And it's probably going to wipe out at least a portion of War Daddy's base. Doesn't really have a lot of units on land. Does have a couple of the blazes, which might be enough to help, but looks like the pigeons are targeted. That's obviously not a good thing for Team 1's eco, especially on that side of the map, given that's kind of starting to fail in terms of the everything over there. Looks like Orb is falling back a little bit. He did take out the T2 land headquarters. And Seraphim Nuke is still on this northeastern side. He's again slowly making his way over there. He's kicked Strider out at least. At least his facility's out. But again, comm is still there, so that could still pose a threat. 2v1 advantage would definitely not be a good thing. But the western side, Spam Hover is online for Team 1's Orb. He went after the headquarters with the assistance, of course, of Hybrid or vice versa. Either way, both things are assisting one another. And it looks like Team 2 has lost Navy on the western side. And now we'll see Navy kind of shift to more of a east versus west instead of a north v south. And we'll see how that ends up going out for both of our teams. We do see Kavat getting onto the front lines with this comp. Doesn't have any gun upgrades, but again, he should be fine. There's not that many hover tech units. And there is some gunships inbound here from Lucius to help assist. So nothing too critical. We do see Lucius's comm over here just ensuring, hey, get out of the water just in case. Doesn't want anybody to be sniped. Eastern side here, we do see those spam facilities staying online. And, of course, they're getting those engineers to get that reclaim here for Azuros. Team 2 in the lead, quite heavily in the lead here for Eco. About 150 or so mass more per second for Team 2. So that is a considerable amount to be ahead, especially at almost 20 minutes on the clock. That is not looking good for the trend line here for Team 1, so they definitely need to kick it into high gear. They did take out the the Salems that were attacking them. They lost some pigeons, so some nexus were wiped out, some were not. So War Daddy isn't completely kicked out of the everything, but he is licking his wounds. Azuros has gotten some forces on here, but again, it's nothing really system critical. And looks like the facilities were control K'd, and looks like they're going to be reclaimed, but I don't think they'll have time to be reclaimed. So as I point them out, they get taken out, almost like a caster's curse. If I point something out, then it usually dies. I'm kind of thinking of another game that happened recently. I won't shout out exactly what happened, to spoiler alert, whatnot, but for those of you who watched that match, I think it was yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago, whatever it was, you know exactly what I'm talking about. T3 unit in Navy Online for Hybrid, and he produced the best one in the game, in my opinion. It is the Neptune class battle cruiser. It is not as big as the battleship, of course, but it is very, very powerful. Dual laser cannons. No, sorry, dual twin laser cannons. Apologies. And very, very annoying to deal with. Again, doesn't have the range of the battleship, but it does have a lot of DPS, so definitely is a concerning thing to have on this side of the map. There isn't that much defenses in terms of units over here, and all of the nexus are slowly being eaten away by missile fire. So we might see this fleet from Azuros have to be pulled back. We do see a Seraphim headquarters T2 online for Seraphim Noob, so that's going to have to be the new line of defense, but I don't think that'll last long. If Team 1's Navy, or at least for Hybrid, does want to push in, they could just wipe almost entirely, I think, to this position. T3 Navy online as well for Azuros, so we'll see if it ends up happening for Hybrid, if he ends up pushing in or not. But I feel like, again, to strike while the iron is hot. What's the scouting going on? Nothing too crazy. They don't even know about the T2 one down here, so if they did, then they might go for it now. Or even if they don't even know about it, push in and try to go for this anyways. Try to lock out Navy for Team 2 entirely. And given this map is a pretty heavy naval map, losing Navy kind of is not great in terms of getting to the longevity side of things, because pretty much everyone on the map can be targeted by battleships and cruisers, especially the cruisers with missiles on board, so Navy needs to stay online as long as possible. T2 spam helping to keep Team 1's Eastern Navy afloat quite literally and figuratively with the hover tech. Lots of spam online here for War Daddy and Orb, and that's going to overwhelm this. That is the one thing I don't particularly like about hover tech is just in Navy, it just becomes okay, well, if my opponent's going to hover spam, I have to hover spam, and it's just kind of doesn't really work very well. You need a lot of units to deal with hover spam. You can see with projectile weapons like this, they miss a decent amount of times, especially if the unit, not decent amount of times, but especially if the unit is moving, they miss a decent amount. So it's just very annoying. You really need Seraphim destroyers to really counter hover tech. That's probably the best one, or Neptunes. One or the other, some laser-based weapon, something that doesn't miss a whole lot. It's the best effective thing in my opinion. Unless you just have a metric ton of Navy, that's a different story. But there's still the problem of there's still a bunch of things running at you. As we see on the eastern side, where it's, again, forget Navy, spam land. Look at this nonsense over here. Who cares about Navy, spam land? Almost like somebody doesn't like playing Navy almost. I mean, I do hear some comments about, Navy is not the funnest to play and it's the slowest. Which I understand that, and that's probably why I like it, because I do like more of a slower pace thing in terms of RTSs and that sort of thing, but sometimes you do want that high octane action, which land and air definitely is the more fast-paced than the Navy side of things. Eastern side looks like there's enough spam, Team 1 and Team 2, to deal with at least some of the hover tech. Of course, that is another big thing, is if you can get out of range of the hover, then it's not a big issue. But if you're in range of the hover, good luck. We do see Seraphim. Noob's comm is in the water. Does he have... No, it looks like he's not trying to reclaim anything. He does have a T3 naval headquarters facility producing some battleships. And here comes Team 1's Navy coming on top of that base. Cruiser spam helping to thin out the herd while they get there. Battleships are moving to engage. This one heavily damaged. Sorry, battle cruisers moving into engage. This one heavily damaged. And these ones are being kind of forced into a corner or just an edge. Not really a corner, but close enough. We do see T3 Naval Headquarters spam. Not headquarters, but regular facility coming online very far forward. Going for a battleship. Very, very risky doing that this far forward. There's not that much AA, and I think that facility will be wiped out before the gunships get there. But Seraphim Nuke control Ks kills off a lot of that hover spam. Lovely play there. It's essentially a tactical kill. A tactical control K saying, "Hey, I'm gonna go for a bunch of kills on some units or comms or whatever." And call it a day there, which does save a decent amount of the stuff here for Team 2, and it does allow the battleships to really thin the herd out after the death of all that hover. Because they were to go for the facility at a minimum, which is what I would have gone after. The missiles are going after the P-Gens, which that's obviously another good way to take out Navy, because you need power, you need mass. Naval units are power and mass hungry, and it looks like those P-Gens are knocked up. Granted, Azeros does have his main base online with T3 power, so I mean he will lose a little bit of stuff, but again, nothing super critical. Yeah, he's getting some floating mass as well to assist with that. Battleship does come online, but again, hover is going to give me the main ticket item for Team 2 and Team 1, I guess, at this point, to really keep their navies afloat, again, literally and figuratively. ASFs looks like they're stacked up quite nicely for Team 1 Strider. I think he's currently sitting at maybe 100. Almost 2 off. Man, that was almost perfect. Let's see, 99? Nope. Lucia's sitting at 62, so in favor of Team 1, but it could be down to a turn or two, could make the difference. So we'll see who ends up winning air as the game progresses. Team 1 and Team 2 have only lost one player between the two of them, and that is Seraphim Noob just recently with the control K. Granted, it was not a departure from the game because he just had something else to do or whatever, but he wanted to kill off as many of the hover tech units as possible, and that was the only way to get that to happen. So it's a tactical control K. Doesn't count as a kill by any means on Team 1 side of things, but it is a 4v3 in favor of Team 1. 27 minutes and 35 seconds on the clock. And let me know down in the comments who you think is going to currently win this game. And of course, if you haven't done so already, because why not at this point, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. And again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. As my voice continues to gives out on me as I continue talking, I might just have a vow of silence for the rest of the day that I'm, still awake at this point of recording. I'm not recording super late, but a little bit later than normal because I want to give as much time as my body could get to recover from the sickness. But it was just one of those, either I get the recording done now or I will fall asleep and not get the recording done, and I definitely don't want to miss a day. So yeah, so here we are. Anyway, western side missile is outbound from Cavat. Maybe we'll see the tactical pillar nuke, maybe we'll not. But he's using it to great effect to deal with the spam facilities for Team 1. Looks like the headquarters was wiped out. Very unfortunate here for Team 1. And here comes the missile to kill off the reclaim. Oh, it does grab, of course, a chunk of the reclaim. But the engineers will reclaim it and grab most of it before the missile takes it out. With the assistance of Seraphim Nuke's facilities, the amount of Navy online for Team 2 has been able to push back Team 1 on the western side. And on the eastern side, the Navy has resurged, and the main facilities are wiped out once again. But there are a lot of spam Vespers online, T2 sub-hunters, not sub-killers, like the Barracudas like to call themselves, which is good because Team 1 desperately needs some defenses in that regard. Unfortunately, there is an air grid which is kind of vulnerable to artillery fire or just any fire in general. And that fire is starting to rain in on the PGens. That is not a good thing. Some of them are being blocked by the little, cliffside there, but the shots are inbound, going for the PGens. Comba's getting out of there. Lovely to see that. Frigates trying to help out the best they can. And unfortunately for Team 1 Strider, I don't think this base will last much longer unless he can deal with those battleships, which he's dealing with currently due to War Daddy's assistance. Bombers over the top to assist as well. I don't think that battleship will live much longer. PGen might get killed off. Oh, there goes the AoE. Kills off the nice little hydrocarbon there. And I think that'll be the last we hear of that battleship for now. The Vespers do save the day. That could have been an entire air victory for Team 2 just for taking out the air grid. That PGen is still vulnerable. The cruiser was left alone. Bombers inbound. It does get reclaimed, so it does an AoE. So great use of the reclaim ability there. And there it is. There it goes. Team 2 is being forced back, but they have T3 Yassas online, those sub-hunters. And, yes, my stimmy check, says Strider. Yes, his stimmy check is coming online. Gotta love the stimmy checks. Free bit of cash is always nice. And, of course, nothing big, crazy going on for Team 2 side of things as of yet. Monkey, though, that's interesting here for Zeros. The only naval units in experimental phase, technology, whatnot, is Aeon and UEF, which Team 1 has and Team 2 has. But Azuros does not, because he has Seraphim and Siren forces, unless he got gifted over an engineer. That always does happen, most of the time, possibly, maybe, but again, it's not always a guaranteed situation. Spam units are inbound once again. Again, forget actual naval units. Spam the hover. That was a little bit of a stuttering there for a brief moment, just because I was trying to do a really weird maneuver with the camera, and I think it just didn't like the way that I was doing it. And it looks like that might be enough to slow it down at least, but I don't think it'll be enough to stop it entirely. There's more hover coming online, but like I said, I just don't think it's going to be enough. The Vespers have all been dealt with. So there's only this Omen online for Team 1's orb. Is somebody going big ticket at him? It is 32, 33 minutes at this point. I don't see any big ticket items on board. You need flax, says Seraphim. Yeah, probably, due to the fact that the monkey's going to be all by his lonesome. Granted, there's nothing to stop it from Team 1 as of yet, so there is that. But again, Team 1 doesn't know there's a monkey lord. We do, so hindsight and full vision and whatnot. Again, the feature I wish they would be able to implement in the replays is at least rewinding, so that way, like, oh, I missed something, let me just, okay, back. And then it's really easy and doesn't take very long and whatnot. But hasn't happened yet. Maybe it'll happen in the near future. Maybe it will never happen. Who knows? But the caster can always wish. Because I think that would be the one best feature. If I were to pick a feature, it would be that. Because I can't think of any other feature. Besides maybe seeing what replays I've already casted or I've already watched would be probably number 2. So just so that way I don't have to like, oh, have I done this one? And I load the replay and go, oh, I've already done this one, and I have to click out of it. And it doesn't take a lot of time, but it's still annoying. Anyway, eastern side, Not going well for Team 1. There are a couple of Omens still online, but there's still a lot of battleships. Decent amount of Yasau still. And a couple of these spam blazes mixed in western side. Decent here for Team 1, but Team 2 does have the Atlantis T4 experimental aircraft carrier online. And that's not looking good here for Team 1's remaining summits over there. It is a Hathum versus Summit affair. There is a decent amount of battleships and battlecruisers, so definitely something concerning to watch out for Team 2. ASF's gearing up for some sort of attack, possibly. Not ASF's, but some gunships, some bombers stacking up here for Team 1. Strider over there. And there are some gunships back here. Looks like they've taken some hits. Looks like they want to thin out the herd in the cruiser department and then go after everything else, which is probably my estimation. 2 battleships remain. 2 battleships remain for Team 2. And of course, all of the reclaim is sitting on Team 1's side of the map. Speaking of reclaim, currently sitting that's a really big number there. 176,000 mass from reclaim. Team 1 has barely eked out a lead so far here. Team 2 was in the lead. But in the east, there goes War Daddy due to the Monkey Lord. Surprise monkey. And that is a kill here for Team 2, dropping this game to a 3v3 tied-up game. And, of course, with Strider being on that eastern side, I would assume that he gets that base. Gunships are stacking up, but we know where they're going to go. But these Nexus is going to get wiped out. That's not great for Team 1's eco. There's probably goes their lead, or at least most of it. ASF's possibly inbound for Team 2's Lucius. Yep, no, they're going back. Never mind. We were going to see an air fight, but Team 2 does not want to take it, which I don't blame them because it looks like Team 1 still has the numbers. Force it, I think. I don't know. We got to do something, though. We don't fight over cruisers. Definitely a smart play. There's no cruisers online from Team 2's Azuros that I see. There is an aircraft carrier, too, which is pretty much just as bad. And it looks like the remaining forces from Team 2's Azuros have pretty much been routed. There's still one the battleship, which there's still 2 battleships online for Azuros, and they are still alive and kicking. But it looks like, again, it's just the slow, death by 1,000 cuts kind of scenario. Michaelot is wiped out. The Mexes are wiped out. Team 1's back to 100 mass instead of 200 mass ahead of Team 2. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. SMD online for Team 1's orb next to his T3 naval headquarters. No nuke. Oh, there it is. Yep, there's the nuke. Let's see. Yep. Obviously infinite range. Does Team 1 know about it? That is the question. No, they don't know about it. So we will see how they react once the nuke is launched. I mean, in terms of targets, the air grid would be a good target, and the headquarters over here would be a good target just to relieve a little bit of that pressure. There is an SMD over there. You're not going to get orb. It's going to load in time. So really, the best thing to do would probably get the air grid, take somewhat of a lot, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of a rock and a hard place kind of decision. Air fight does occur over Team 2's side of the map at least. So they'll get the reclaim maybe, unless Team 1 has anything to say about it. Ooh! ASF's getting wiped out for both teams. Ooh, that looked like a huge chunk got wiped out for Strider. But Team 1 does win the air fight. Well, there's some T3 strap bombers in there mixed in. That's what it looked like. Oh no, those could have been T3 torp bombers. That's probably what those were. But the air grid for Lucius is wiped out. He had to take the air fight. And not great. He still has his air headquarters. That's something. But most of that firepower is gone. And now the bomber's wiping out the Yasau's inbound, keeping Team 1's main destroyers and battleships afloat and alive and whatnot. Essentially, at this point, Azuros needs to take out the air facility for Team 1, or it eventually will just be a wipe because air will just storm over everything, especially with the battleships and whatnot being assisted constantly. T3 naval headquarters will most likely not survive. The one over here will probably be fine for Azuros, but this one is not looking good. There is some AA being built as we speak, so that might be enough to assist. Maybe too little too late, possibly, maybe. But it looks like the assistance going down on the headquarters, which actually might be enough to save it, actually. So never mind. Oh, wait, never mind on that, because there's Coopers inbound anyway, so forget I said anything. Nuke is outbound, and it is going for the air grid. Yep, probably the smarter of the two plays, even though Team 2 has lost pretty much all of their ASFs, if not all their ASFs and the air grid. At least Team 1 can produce more for now. And there is advancements on the land thing as well for Azuros, so he is chipping away at Strider's ability to rebuild. And it's going to take out a lot of mixes as well. That's going to hurt. And Lucius is defeated by Strider just because of those gunships. That's a kill here for Team 2. Here comes the, for Team 1. Here comes the nuke. Kaboom! Takes out some mexes, almost that one as well. In most of the air grid. So Strider, not necessarily is handicapped, but is severely out of a lot of facilities to produce any sort of, well, replenishing ASFs. So Team 2 can survive air superiority for a little while longer. It might not matter, but the Navy is starting to become a concern. You can see the retreat from Azuros on this eastern side due to the pressure from Orb. He's taken over eastern naval duties, and it's now a 2v3 in favor of Team 1 in the lead once again. And Hybrid is getting some mass from Strider. What is Hybrid up to? Looks like some Percys have been having some fun over here on the western side here for Team 2, or from Team 2 on Team 1. They've actually taken out a decent amount of mexes. Look at that. Mass Fab's going down. That mex is gone. 2, 3, 4, 5 mexes killed. That is a decent amount of eco. Both teams have dropped into the triple digits. Not even staying in the quad digits. Team 1 is still in the lead, but that is a huge amount to drop from 13, maybe 1,400 is what I saw, maybe out of the corner eye, maybe, to 900. And same thing here for Team 2. Well, 12, 11 to 8. That amount of mass available to both teams is depleting quickly. Gunships, that's a problem for Team 2's Azuros. If they go after the nuke, that might be a winning move by Team 1 Strider. He's going after a lot of the mass, of course. Now Azuros and Team 2 in general dropping below 700. Oh, now that's probably power related, I would assume. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? Ah, right. And here comes the naval. Well, there's some naval units in there, but it's mainly hover. A couple of battleships, like I said, mainly hover. The forces for Azuros have to retreat. The nuke almost has to target the naval units because, it's either that or not good things. Cabot pretty much just being left alone over there. Is he producing anything big and exciting? No. Now a couple of mexes are wiped out, but again, nothing too crazy. Tactical nuke is done, though, for him, so that is something exciting. He may try to go for a telebilly, possibly. Battleships being wiped out. And it's just not looking good for Team 2's Azuros. And if they wipe out the remaining naval headquarters here for Team 2, like I said, that might be it. This base over here pretty much is gone. This base over here, of course, is currently being assaulted. And Strider has been defeated by Azuros. And I don't know if that was from some Harbingers or something, or bricks or whatever, but not Harbingers, but bricks. That, I don't know what that was about. Was there anything near him? Oh, there was something near him, so I guess he was just taken out anyways. So that is now a 2v2, and Billy Nuke lands up here. Wait, no. Cabot Control K is... What the... Was he... He was on a transport, it looks like. Oh. Okay, well now it's a 2v1 in favor of Team 1. There were some ASFs inbound. I don't know. Yeah, the transport must have been taken out. Huh. Was there any wreck nearby? There is not a wreck. That is weird. Usually there's a wreck. Huh. I mean, no, that's a PGen. I don't know what. Huh. Oh, what's this? Oh, there it is right there. There's the transport. Yep. Unfortunate, but it is now a 2v1 game still in favor of Team 1. Azuros is the lone man for Team 2, and his nuke is still online. Looks like he's fended off some of the engagements, but it's going to be very, very tight. He needs a miracle, if not a couple of them. Because Team 1 has the mass advantage, they have the map advantage, they have the naval advantage, they have the air advantage, they have a lot of advantage. So he's got to find a new home somewhere to keep himself alive in this game. That hover tech is really coming in very, very clutch here for Team 1. And like I said, that is the one thing I don't really like about hover tech is in large quantities it can easily counter. Not large quantities, semi-large quantities, it can easily counter naval units. Shields being built, SMBs, TMD need to be built, artillery being built. They're targeting the nuke. Once the nuke goes down, that's probably game over right there. The nuke is loaded. The nuke will fire before it goes off. Nice job there. The problem is, what does it go for? I don't think he has much to go for. He's going to go for the Navy over here. That's probably the more dangerous of the two. The Navy isn't moving. There it goes. Here goes all this Navy, probably except a couple of those Neptunes. Boom, takes out everything but the battleship, because the battleship had enough health because of its 5-star vet. So it does relieve a lot of the pressure from the naval bombardment, but like I said, the nuke is gone now. It might be a different story if the nuke was still there, but even then, there's still SMDs online for Team 1s, both Orb and Hybrid, so I just think it might kind of be over at this point. He's hanging out over here with a couple of AA emplacements just in case some bombers have some interesting ideas. T2 artillery ripping apart the rest of those summits and battleships, but I think the battleship might actually be out of range for Azuros. Yeah, it's out of range. He's building more spam facilities over here. And it is the hard thing being a hybrid because he doesn't have hover tech. He has at the bottom of the water tech, so he has Wagners and bricks and stuff, which again have torpedoes and crabs and monkeys do as well. But he doesn't have hover. So it's hard to counter hover if you don't have your own hover. So yeah. Or again, lasers would have helped, but I think he got those a little bit too late on that side of the map. And I think he still has Seraphim engineers. Yeah, he does, so he can still try to rebuild. But it's going to take him a while to do that, and I don't think he has much time at this point with the hover soon to be inbound, and they're having some issues getting on the land over here. GC here better, says More Daddy. Again, Azuros' base over here, of course, once belonging to Cabat, still online, but I don't think it's going to live much longer. Again, unless there's some sort of miracle or something for Azuros, or 2, I should say, with 2 players remaining for Team 1, I don't think he has much time left in this world. He could control K, he could keep it through till the end of his death and whatnot. We'll see what he ends up doing. Colossus in the middle here for Team 1's Orb. And this base is slowly being bombarded by artillery fire from the summit, so I don't think there's, like I said, long for the vote. Bombers are inbound, though. That's something. What do they go for is the question. Are they going for P-Gens? What are they? There is a nuke online here for Team 1's Hybrids. That's the thing. Looks like they went after the P-Gens. They don't grab any of them. That's unfortunate. ASFs don't stop all of them. And explosion in the east. There goes Hybrid. He control Hybrid. There goes Azuros. He control case. That is the game here, folks. A little bit of a shorter one, but it is nice to have a nice little, nice relaxing game on a Sunday. Again, this video is going to be released on a Sunday, regardless if you're watching on a Sunday or not. Really do appreciate you watching. Again, more of a little bit of a, not a flavor, but more of a an appetizer maybe. A light meal, maybe. It's probably the way I want to put it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And MVP, I mean, it's between Orb and Hybrid. I think at the end of the day, Orb is probably the one I'm going to go with. The fact that, again, the hover came in and stopped Azuros' push on the eastern side really was what Team won the game. Again, Hybrids and Navy in the west was really tantamount to success as well. But had this side fallen, Team 2 would have been in a better position. But without the hover, or with the hover, it was a kind of a, not really a good situation for Azuros. Just because it was, again, an Aeon and a UEF versus a Cybrid. Again, he did get Seraphim Tech later, but he didn't have hover to counter the hover, and that kind of was the big linchpin for Team 1. But again, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see all of you in the next one.